Hi everyone, Corey here from the Knitting All the Blankets podcast, episode number 5. In this episode, since it's the end of the month, it's finished objects time. Now, some of the blanket squares for my brother's blanket you've seen before, but I've got a lot more stuff to show you. And this past week, I did actually get started working on the mini skein 10-stitch blanket again, since I'm done with the scrappy wrap. I am in my living room this time instead of in my dining room. Yes, I have a couch in my dining room that I normally sit at. It just gets really hot in there with the light fixture we have in there, and I wanted somewhere where I could have a fan on, actually, and I just remembered something, so I'm going to pause real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I'm going to start off with typical finished objects, dishcloths, and blanket square, so you can see that. Then I'm going to show you the mini skein 10 stitch, and then I'm going to show you the upcoming cotton I'm going to be knitting with in June, because this month I completed the Bernat Twisted Melon, and then I have a new project that I'm thinking about doing. I know last week I started talking about maybe knitting some tank tops or something for the summer. Well, I've gone in the completely opposite direction, so we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, I have a big couch, so I have stuff everywhere around me. So first off, okay, dishcloths. I got 11 dishcloths out of the Bernat Twisted Melon cotton. There's that. And one scrubby. And sorry, I haven't woven my ends in yet. So I hope that's coming out real nice. The Twisted Melon was a twist, and to me, it looks, I don't remember if I said this before, I probably haven't, but it looks to me like melted crayons. Like if you melted all the primary, that 8-count box of Crayola crayons you get, like if you melted all that down, swirled it around, that's what I think this looks like. So 11 dishcloths and one scrubby, which brings my total up to 65 dishcloths for October to get, of my 100 count to get to by October. So I'm getting there. Put those in my box. And I'll sew the ends in before I put them into the, I'll be right back. I'm sorry about that. I thought I heard my husband lock his truck, and I didn't want him to interrupt me filming my video. So, but he's not home yet. So the next thing I'm going to show you are the finished blanket squares. Now, most of these you saw for my podcast after I came back from FLA, because I got a lot of squares knitted. Here's the full stack. In May, I ended up knitting 10 squares total. So 7 of them were during FLA, and then I knit an additional 3 more. And there it is. I'll sew these ends in probably this afternoon or this week, and then they'll go in the bucket for Eric's blanket. And I think at the end of June, I'll give you guys a better idea of where I'm at in that process and how much more I have to go, which I can already tell you is a lot. I did go and buy the royal blue and the cherry red that he wanted. When he met me at Joann's, he looked at all the silver yarn, and all of it looked gray to him, or it was $5 for a teeny tiny little ball of it when he saw the big red heart ones for the same price, and he's like, can I change one of my colors? So he changed from silver to red, which I was perfectly okay with. So I have the royal blue and the cherry red, and after I get through the black, which I'm going to show you the stack of black in a minute, I will be starting on those. I still have not done the the candy corn cardboard cones that I've talked about for weeks and weeks and weeks. And that's where you take a cardboard cone and you take orange yarn, yellow yarn, and white yarn, and you essentially wrap it around and glue it to the cardboard cone, and in the order to make it look like a piece of candy corn. I still haven't gotten around doing that. I haven't had a free weekend. Seriously, I really haven't. Maybe since this is Memorial Day weekend and I have Monday off, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. But I say that every week, or I tell myself that every week. Okay, black squares. Piled black, and it's the same pattern as the green ones, so and there are 12 of them in this stack, so get it closer. There you go. And it's the grandma's favorite washcloth pattern, and all I did was I just go up to 25 stitches, come back down on US size 10 bamboo needles. Actually, they're right here. These are the needles that I use. It's a pair of size 10. I think they're 16-inch circulars. But yeah. US size 10 or 60 millimeter. And I've got another black one cast on. Actually, leaning. This is the skein of black that I have left. And it has started to collapse on itself because, can I do it? Can I do it? I'm pulling from the center pull and it is completely open on the inside. So this has been fun. Yeah, so far it has not tangled up on me, you know, knock on wood. Camera's on a wooden table. So I'll work on that some more this afternoon as well. So that's it for finished objects. And I'm really happy with all the progress that I'm making, especially towards my brother's blanket, because I would like to give it to him for Christmas, but I am being realistic and, you know, I'm not pushing myself, you know, or my wrists, and, you know, and he knows that he'll get it when he gets it, and he's really excited about it. I actually went on XL and color coded the cells and did a bunch of different designs and sent it to him with all the colors going, so what do you want your blanket to look like? Do you want it green stripe, black stripe? Do you want it all horizontal? Do you want me to just randomly pick one and sew them on? And if he comes over this afternoon, we're having a family get-together this afternoon here at the house, I will ask him again. I mean, granted, I still only have 2 colors, so it's not like he can really see it, but whatever. Okay, so mini skein 10 stitch. I actually got a lot of work done on this week. I added 256 rows, or 58 rows. And that's a lot, especially when you look at still how small this thing is. All right, let me make sure I'm holding it correctly. Okay, so from where, I don't know if any of you remember, but I had stopped here at the fleur-de-lis. I had stopped before the fleur-de-lis. And because when I get to a corner, the corner is usually the only thing I do if I'm going to work on the blanket that day, because it's 34 rows. The pattern for the miter corner is 34 rows, and that just really does my wrist end. So I can only do that and only that if that's my knitting for the day. So that corner, the knitting all along the top. Ooh, shit. Panic. Bye. Hang on. Wow, today is probably not a good day to podcast. I think the universe is trying to tell me something. So what happened is my needle fell out and some of the stitches had ripped out. So I had to very quickly reknit it, and I'm actually going to have to tink it back and fix it, but all the stitches are back on the needle at least. Whew, okay, lesson learned. Gravity works, don't do that. So now it's just the needle hanging off there. And then this is just a little United States Progress Keeper that I bought at Walmart, and through the next miter corner with just a little USA one, then down, and I tied in the yellow. But if you can see that my stitches are wrong right there, I have to tink that back and fix it. Not a big deal. So, but all that is 258 rows. So that's good. I'm happy to be working on this again. You know, it's fun. For me, the 10 stitch blankets are fun, especially with the way this one's going to be designed. I love seeing how they come out because you think you know how they're going to come out because you can put the yarn balls in an order and go, okay, yeah. But it comes out looking so much better than you ever think that it will. So, minor emergency aside. Okay. Yarn for June. So back in, let's see, May, April, March. I think in the, back when I still was doing my knitting podcast on my other YouTube channel, I had shown 4 skeins of Bernat cotton that I had coned up. And I cone up 4 months worth at a time because that's how many of these plastic cone winders I have. So I've gotten through the first 3 and now I'm on the 4th. So starting in June, once I get towards the end of June, I will cone up the next 4 months worth and show those off. But the one I'm doing now is, this one is called Blue Icicle. It's Bernat cotton. And I don't know if, the silver is coming through. I think that's Stellina or Tencel. I'm honestly not too sure. But there is a silver metallic thread that goes along with it. And as always, I will knit the more empty one first to get it gone. And then I will switch over to this one and knit it up. So this will be my nice, pretty, because this is the only one of these I have. I've had this yarn for years and never knitted up. So I can't wait to see what this one looks like knitted up. Put that over there. So a new project that I have coming. My friend Anne Michael, I cannot pronounce her last name, and that is really sad considering I consider her such a good friend. She is the owner of Twin Mommy Creations dye shop, and I've talked about her before on the podcast and how she has lovely yarns and all that. Well, she also participates in the Fat Fiber and Spin That Box monthly spinning yarn, all that. It's a subscription box. That's what it was called. My brain is not working this morning, and I've even had coffee, and that's sad. But she participates in those boxes, and she usually always buys a box too. And I tease her about it. I'm like, why did you buy the box when you're contributing to it? But she wants the other samples, and what she's been doing with the bits of fiber that she gets is she's spinning them all up and then making her own art yarn with it, and then she has been knitting up shawls with them. The latest one she did, and if you go to her Facebook page, Twin Mommy Creations on Facebook, you can see her boneyard shawl that she did with the, I don't remember what month it was for the Spin That Fiber. I think it was a Spin That Box subscription. But she took all of it and just knit up the boneyard shawl with it, which inspired me to print off the pattern as well. No, this is the Age of Brass one. Okay, I grabbed the wrong pattern, but the boneyard shawl. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I forget the name of the guy. Stephen West, I think it's his pattern. And I saw it, and I'm like, you know, I've got all that specialty yarn from England that I don't know what I'm gonna do with. Maybe I'll make myself, as much as nice as this is, I can't take it to work because it's not correct for a professional setting, and it looks too much like a blanket, and my director kind of has a thing about us sitting wrapped up in a blanket at work. It's cold in there. It really is. It's an ice box right now. I'm serious. It was at the end of May. I was sitting at the reference desk doing my reference desk shift, and I had to go get out our little space heater to put beside me at the reference desk. It was that cold. So I decided to do my own boneyard shawl. And so I went and got out 5 skeins of yarn that I got from England. And 3 of these, okay, this one wants to come apart. 3 of them are the same. They're cupcake. I don't know if they're Peter Pan cupcake or if they're, or if it's cupcake Peter Pan. I honestly don't know. I found these 3 at Franklin's in Salisbury in the clearance rack, because I always magically find the clearance rack. And they were £1.99, and so I have 3 of them. So, and then the other yarn is this Adrafil Mirage, and it was £1. It was also a clearance rack find from a yarn shop called Wool in Bath. And this one is 55% wool, 45% acrylic. This one is it's a 50-50 nylon acrylic, and it's pretty. It's soft and squishy. So I've got one of those, and then and this one was also in the clearance rack bin of another store. It's Wendy Mode Chunky, 50% wool, merino wool, and it was £1.50. And what shop did I get this at? It's called Miles Apart. I think it's like their equivalent of like Dollar General. I think. I'm not too sure. So what I'm going to do is, when I start the boneyard shawl out, so if you've ever done this shawl, you know it starts at this and goes up in a triangle. I'm going to start with this, then go in this, then do this again, then the pink. I've got yarn everywhere. And then finish up with a cupcake. So hopefully it'll look nice, and I hope it'll be cozy and warm, and keep me warm at work, and this way I have something cool at work, and I can say all of the yarn that I was knit with was stuff that I carried back from England. So that's what I think I'm going to do with any cool yarns that I bring back, and I'm not going to turn them into a tank top or something. So that's that. They're all, oh, and the bag that they're in, it's my procrastinating bag. You can get these at Joann's. One of my friend Sarah saw it and she bought it for me, so it's in use and it will hold my shawl. So I think that's it for May. Lots of finished objects. I got a lot done. Yes, I do still have a few more days of May, but I'll probably just spend that either working on the 10-stitch blanket or knitting squares for my brother's blanket. Because when it comes to the monthly yarn like this, it's kind of a challenge for myself to see if I can finish it all in the actual month. So I will be waiting, until June 1st to cast this on. But of all of the 4 Bernat skeins that I coned up a few months ago, this one is the one with the least amount. If anybody remembers what they all looked like, the second cones had varying amounts, because I always do one full cone, and then the secondary cone is for whatever's left. And the blue icicle has had the least amount on the second cone, so I expect to finish this up pretty quickly. Okay, so, and who knows, maybe by next week I will have cast on for the boneyard shawl. Who knows, because having blanket squares for a gift, dishcloths to knit for craft show inventory, mini skein 10-stitch for my own personal use, and a shawl, and I've never made a shawl before. Yeah, and I work a full-time job. Yeah, so what's another project, right? But I know there are some people that, like you sock knitters, you have like 3 million different socks going at at all times, and I don't know how you do it. I really don't, especially if you have a different pattern on each sock. You guys amaze me. And if I live somewhere else other than Florida, I would probably knit socks. But let's face it, this is Florida. I wear flip-flops 90% of the time. I don't need a lot of socks, and if I do, they need to be cotton. But that's just me. All right. Thank you for watching. Oh, I forgot this at the beginning. So you can find me on Ravelry as Crafts by Cori. There is a Ravelry group for this podcast. It's the Knitting All the Blankets podcast group. Come and join me. I've got a couple threads open where I link the videos and put some show notes. And you know, if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them there or down below in the comment section on YouTube. And there's also an Ask Me thread and an introduction thread. So honestly, I'm hoping if I can get up to 50 members of the podcast and a couple more subscribers of the YouTube channel, I would like to do a giveaway. So what that giveaway will be, I don't know yet, but we shall see. All right, so take care, everyone. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Thank you to all of our men and women in the service who have given their lives for our freedoms. I'm getting a little teary-eyed right now. And their families, because I couldn't do what they do. My husband told me at one point that he had thought about joining the military, and I said, honey, I love you, but if you do that, we're over, because I do not have the strength that it takes to be a military wife. So thank you to the families, because you guys put in as much time as your spouses and your loved ones. So happy Memorial Day, everybody. Have a nice one.